हिंदुस्तान के हर कोने में नौजवानों के पास प्रतिभा है, उन्हें अवसर चाहिए।
NIOS देता रहा है युवाओं को अवसर आगे बढ़ने का। NIOS से पढ़ने वाले इन युवाओं ने किया है संस्थान को गौरवान्वित। दिव्यांगों ने बन के दिखाया है सबल और आत्मनिर्भर। NIOS के साथ आप भी जुड़िए NIOS के संग।
I welcome you all in this session of economics at secondary level on the topic agriculture in India. This session is very interactive session because we have also invited our learners from different AIs. Before I start, I want to extend my warm welcome to Dr. Ajit Mittal. He is a professor, freelancer in economics and finance. He is very keen to participate in such workshop and such conferences to interact with students and to share his knowledge with students. We come to the formal presentation of agriculture in India. I just want to share very important thing related to sectors of economy. We have a very important sector that is a primary sector in economics. And this primary sector, as we know that India is predominantly an agriculturist country. And agriculture sector is a part of primary sector. Other than agriculture sector, there is another one more important part of primary sector, that is allied activities. Allied activities comprises of horticulture, pisciculture, rearing of animals and many more. But in this session, we are going to discuss only about agriculture in India. So I request our expert of the day and of this program, Dr. Ajit Mittal, to share his views.
When we talk about the agriculture in India, we have to know what was the agriculture into the past and what is the present. When we talk about independence of the Indian agriculture, since independence there is a drastic change in agriculture. We were dependent on the other countries, we were importing goods in terms of agriculture. But now today the current scenario is that we are self-sufficient. We do not import now, but we export our agricultural products. When we talk about our subsistence farming, now previously it was done through old machinery, but now we are self-sufficient in technological improvement and in terms of ranking into the world. Now we are into the front ranking while promoting the agricultural products in India. We do not have to import, but we are into the category of exporters nowadays. When we talk about, there are certain facts into the Indian agriculture system, which says that the total geographical area of India in agriculture is around 328 million hectares. Then net area sown is around 142 million hectares, which says the gross cropped area, which used to be 190.8, it comes to around 80%, in which now the fertility of the land that exists. And when we talk about the major crop production, now all the major crops, they have been produced in India, like rice, wheat, coffee, pulses, oil seeds, sugarcane. And into the different category, into the million hectares, if we talk about rice, it is around 89.5 million hectares. If we talk about wheat, it is around 75.6 million hectares. So now when the facts they were there, that since independence, when we were dependent upon the other countries, today we are self-sufficient. We are doing, the farmers, they are indulged into the farming where they have made us self-sufficient. Then when we talk about the total GDP contribution, it is around 24% from the agriculture sector. then it provides food to 1 billion people. Next, it sustains 65% of the population, that helps alleviate poverty. What happens that previously the farmers, there was a discussion that if you earn 32 rupees, you are not below poverty line. But now, since the farming that has been done, they are to remove poverty, they are now into farming. The farmers, they are above poverty line now, when they used to be below poverty line. So, produces 51 of the major crops that have been there in India today. India is producing a lot of crops which we were not producing, we were based on importing those crops. Then it provides raw material to the industries, then contributes to 1/6 of the export earning when we talk about in the Indian scenario. Then when we talk about major achievements, India is nowadays the largest producer in the world of pulses, tea and milk. Then second largest producer of fruits, vegetable, wheat, rice, groundnut and sugarcane. Then when we talk about the Indian agriculture scenario, first when we talk about the SWOT analysis of the Indian agriculture, we first start with the threats. What are the major threats? Instead of starting from the strength, I would like to start up with the threats. The major threats is usable resource use. Next, unusable regional development, and third, imports. They are the major threats. When we can produce ourselves, why do we import products? Major strength, rich biodiversity, then arable land, climate, strong and well dispersed research and extensive system. Now India is self-dependent upon the technological sector. Previously we used to use, for harvesting, there were, the buffaloes used, the carts they were used, but nowadays we have got our own tractors. The system, they have been modified. Now when we talk about weakness, our weakness is fragmentation of land, low technological inputs, then unusable water management, poor infrastructure and low value addition into the soil. Then when we talk about opportunities, the major thing is bridgeable yield crops, then exports, then agro based industry, then horticulture and untapped potential. Now what are the area or the current concern areas into the Indian agriculture system? They are pressure of population on land. What used to happen before? There were joint families in India and the farmer used to cultivate his land jointly with their sons and daughters. Now the system into the Indian culture today is that the land is to be distributed equally among all the sons and the daughters till the will has been written. What is happening? The son, they are now doing, or they belong to the nuclear families where the father has to divide the land between different sons. So now the land is been divided. If a farmer is having 3 sons, previously it used to happen that there was only one son or there was only the farmer who used to cultivate with the sons. Now there are going to be 3 landowners. The land is now divided. That is not good. That is a major area of the concern today. The second area of current concern is squeezed distribution of operational holding, the third being the land degradation. Now what is happening, that since when we talk about the NCR region, there are major land of agriculture that is being taken by the builders, right. So what is happening nowadays, because agricultural land is now being used for different purpose and that has been acquired by the government, so the land has got itself degraded. So when there is no agricultural land available, on what farmers they are going to cultivate in? The fourth category means water balance. Now what is happening, since the water level of the earth is going down day by day because of the increase in the population, the usage. So what is going to happen if there is a water imbalance? We don't have water now to cultivate. We have to just dig deep and deep and deep to get water and then start cultivating our lands. Then it is low level of mechanisms. If suppose the land has become non-fertile, what used to happen, that if there are no new mechanism which we can use onto the land, what is happening, we cannot go ahead and do the farming on those lands. So we have to use the modernized techniques in which we can cultivate our land. Next being the low fertilizer consumption. If we talk about our fertilizer consumption, fertilizer is being used to fertilize our land. If we used excess amount of fertilizer, increasing its fertility, that is not good for the crop horticulture, and it throws a major impact onto the Indian agriculture system. Then the initiative to achieve the objectives, what are going to be the initiative which we take in to achieve our objective, which we have said. Number 1, development of sustainable agriculture. Second, food and nutrition security. Third, generation and transfer of technology. Fourth, improvement of input efficiency, followed by provision of incentives for agriculture which the government gives to the farmers. What used to happen before, they were the farmers, they were doing the cultivation, and the middlemen used to come and take the crops from them, who went into the town areas and they used to sell the crops at a much higher rate, which the farmers they used to sell at a very low rate. Now what the government is doing, the government is abolishing the system. The farmers, they can go directly to the mandis and they can sell out their products there. So this is how we are going to improve. It has to be the government is going to play a major role in building up the agriculture in India. The promotion of investment into the agriculture sector. When we talk about the investment, previously the farmers, they used to just keep the seeds of the past year, and then for the next year they used to cultivate the seeds into their farms, which, because the seeds they were kept with them since last 1 year, they used to go a little bit crap. Now what the government is doing, the government is giving them new seeds which they can come up, and then they can utilize those seeds into their land, which can give them a higher rate of crops. Then it is strengthening of the institutional infrastructure, then better risk management, and then introduction to the management reforms. Then what are going to be our targets? Targets: food grain production will be doubled into the next 10 years so as to make India hunger free. If suppose we double our production, still today we are dependent into some crops onto the imports, we are dependent, but into the coming years, when the government has decided that they are going to double their production, we are going to become independent. Next, a special emphasis will be on horticulture products in order to achieve a quantum increase. Next, it is going to promotion of allied sectors like livestock, dairy, poultry and fisheries. The abolition of the middlemen, that is also taking place, and this is what the government is deciding. Next is production of oil seeds and pulses to be raised substantially. Then what is happening into the current scenario, the government is adopting the commodity trading, the newest concept, that what do the people, the middlemen, in abolition of the middlemen, the government has established a retail sector which says that we are going to take the crops which are going to be sown today and they are going to give you the returns in future. This is the newest concept which has been introduced, commodity trading. If suppose we take the example of pulses, what is happening? The pulses, they are still to be cultivated and farmers, they get the price beforehand. When the crops they come into the field, then the crops they have been given to the retailers which they can sell out. So farmer is going to get before 6 months the price of the land or of the crop which is going to be cultivated, and then it comes into the actually into the fields, and then it is being given to the retailers. That is the newest concept. Now this is all about the Indian agriculture today. So can we invite certain questions if you people have from you?
My name is Ehsan Ahmed and my question is, can you state whether the bank gives the loan to the farmer?
See, bank, from the side of bank, we are very thankful to the government and to the banking institutions. See, if we go in detail, there was a commercial bank only, and before that we were depending on zamindars and mediators for the loans which were very, very expensive. Then we have support from commercial bank side, then we have regional rural banks, and then finally in around 60s we have NABARD, an exclusive bank to support the farmers. NABARD is National Agricultural Bank for Rural Development. Basically it is meant for rural development, agricultural and rural development. So it's a core banking institution that support the farmers for financial needs and many other needs also, like even for loan purpose, for purchase, for any even for guiding the farmers where to have their investment which is fruitful or not. So there is a good support from the government side.
Hello sir, my name is Vaibhav Verma and my question is which crop we have to farm to yield maximum profit?
Okay, you want to ask the selection of crops from the farmer side. See, selection is good. We go for those crops which are profitable, which are demanded by industries also. Like there are some agro-based industries also. If we talk about cotton, pulses, we talk about cash crops, they are the good selection. But at the same time, farmers should be very much careful कि they just take into consideration the fertility of the soil. Every time if you go on producing the same crop again and again from the same land, it is a problem with the land also. So you go into the proper practices of farming also. Your selection is a good criteria. You select the profitable crop, and for profitable crop, cash crop is a good selection. Food crop, cash crop, whichever is in demand, you can go for it. But at the same time, you take into consideration the practices, farming practices. You know, no crop rotation. That is a part of your biology in 10th level. Crop rotation means 1 year leguminous, the another year non-leguminous. So you select, but considering the fertility of the soil also.
And I want to add, Manish was absolutely correct. I just wanted to add कि, you know, profitability, when we talk about profitability, we have to see the demand. And when we see the demand, the more you grow, the more your dependency upon the import reduces. And when we talk about any product which we are cultivating into the land, the maximum profitability depends the product which we can export, because we can generate foreign reserves from it. अगर हम फॉरेन रिजर्व वहाँ से जनरेट कर रहे हैं तो हमारी जो बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट की सिचुएशंस हैं वो रिड्यूस हो जाएंगी, राइट. सो वी शुड थिंक अबाउट द क्रॉप्स which have got the export oriented. The demand is there into the foreign countries also, but we first of all we have to think about our domestic demand. Right?
And recently I want to add one more thing. In Gujarat side, farmers have started to earn the foreign reserve. They have started the plantation or the production of capsicum in different colors also. And even if we go to Rajasthan, the production of strawberry. And if we go to again MP side, Gujarat side, production of mushrooms also. So these are all we are doing to earn the foreign reserve. And this is what this is a investment, this is a selection, this is a, like we can say that, selection of crops also. But at the same time we have to be concerned about our land fertility also.
My name is Samyak Jain and the question is, what is the government doing to the farmers in agriculture sector?
See, if you talk about the support from the government side to educate and to aware the farmers, it is regarding the fertility of soil. If we see, if we only just educate the farmer ki you just put fertilizer, give NPK rich fertilizer, nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus rich fertilizer. Okay, farmer is doing purchasing from market and just putting ki there should be a good, the result is good, my crops, standing crops are good, they will give good yield, but they are really needed. You just take the sample of your soil, go in laboratory, farmer is supporting, government is supporting for that. There are open laboratories where you can go and get a test of your soil, which type of nutrient is very much essential for the soil. So this sort of help is given by government. From the finance side, financial assistance is given, and sir already added this thing ki they waive up your interest also, principal amount also sometimes, and they will guide you ki where to invest, how to invest, and what are the different crops you can go for cultivation, and regarding the soil conservation, water, water for standing crops, and the supply of water. There are so many things in so many areas government is supporting farmers. And even we say every time used to say हमारा देश भारत एक कृषि प्रधान देश है. India is predominantly an agriculturist country. There, we are thankful to government only कि government is supporting agriculture in every cornerstone activities. It is it is right from the activity, from the cultivation to support, from the finance, from every corner government is supporting.
Nowadays the government is also promoting the private sector to come into the agriculture education to the farmers. There is a company which is called as Mahindra and Mahindra. They have opened up their own agriculture consultancy division in Gujarat. They are saying that we are going to provide the total education to the farmers, that how much manure or how much minerals they are available into the land and how much you have to add, so that your crops, they become, the harvesting time when it comes, they give you the major amount of profits. So they are basically, the government is educating the farmers in terms of increasing their lifestyle of living.
So my question is, what is GDP and how is it related to agriculture?
See, regarding GDP, if we want to define GDP, it is the money value of all final goods and services available within the domestic territory of a country during an accounting year, whatever goods and services. Like if I'm using pen, that is also part of GDP, but with special reference to agriculture. Like suppose you are purchasing wheat from the market, so this is the agriculture product. So like there are so many agriculture products, and the money value of all those products which are produced within our domestic territory, it is GDP, money value. You are purchasing, and whatever you are paying for GDP, and GDP is increasing. We used to say कि GDP is increasing from agriculture side, means goods and services are increasing. And when goods and services are increasing, they are meant for sale in the market, and when they are meant for sale in the market, then their farmers are earning. And if we are exporting, we are earning export earning from different countries also. So GDP is the money value of all agricultural goods with special reference to agriculture sector, all those goods which are produced in primary sector within the domestic territory of a country during an accounting year, financial year, assessment year, whatever the term you want to use it. And you know what is the financial year? 1st April to 31st March. Okay. So at the end, first of all, I want to say that this sort of interactive session with students is really fruitful for our learners also and to everyone, because in this we have questions. Whatever we are delivering, it is only our whatever we have.
But it is a two-way process.
Two-way, win-win situation. So at the last, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Ajit Mittal for sparing his valuable time for us and for learners especially. Learners for the purpose ki we are having these video program, this is ultimately meant for our learners only. So I thank you sir for sparing your valuable time, and at the same time I am also extending my thanks to my learners also from different AIs for coming to this program and just posing different questions on the topic of discussion, because our learners, we don't have direct contact with our learners. They are connected, they have their interactions with our AIs and the regional centers only. They have mandatory personal contact programs where they used to just share their problems and solve their problems. But this platform is very good for our learners where they come and share their views, and the same thing is percolated to all our AIs also, and they are benefited also.
Yeah, like to add on that by this, by these kind of talks, you will be able to clear your doubts also. That's the thing, right? You will be able to clear your doubts. Yes, Manish.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank you for sparing your time. Thank you all.
Thank you.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर। शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके